Around 7 years ago, I downloaded the Unity games engine for the first time. Since then a lot happened, and 2.5 years ago I switched completely to the Godot game engine. In these 7 years I worked on multiple projects, on and off, but like lots of other game developers I never had the commitment, motivation and energy to finish one project completely and release it to the world. So this time I thought, why should I not finally follow one of the most popular tips out there in the game dev community? Make small games. There's just one typical problem, feature creep. Making a small game sounds easy and straightforward, but over time of development you will just have too much ideas and things you want to implement. The one small game idea gets bigger and bigger and at some point gets just out of hand. My last project started with the idea of a simple game like Forager, with some own ideas, some elements of Stardew Valley, Minecraft and other games. But after a few months of work I just had to realize that even though I planned not that many systems, it was just too much and the small game was not a small game anymore. A character that can walk and interact with the game world, getting resources, inventory system, crafting, planting crops, collecting experience, health points, simple combat, NPCs to interact with, and an interesting game world to discover. These are not even all mechanics, but are already too much to handle by a single person in a reasonable time. So for my new project, my plan is this. Take this idea and throw out everything and simplify that is not needed for a really simple game. With this game I aim for a playtime of 2 to 5 hours, and from the start I am aware that this won't be my dream game or anything like it. This project's main purpose is to develop a game from start to finish and learn most out of it. Now let me show you what I already did for the new project. I created a new empty Godot 4 project. I imported the asset pack I bought on itch.io, set up a basic tileset and created this simple scene to get started. Then it was time to start coding the first main mechanic of the game, gathering resources. By holding down the left mouse button on the tree, after some delay the tree gets hit and loses HP. At 0 HP a wood item is spawned. After experimenting a bit I decided to go for now with this item spawning. I added at the bottom right an inventory and the ability to collect items with the right mouse button. The main mechanic is working, so I added a second resource type, iron ore, and a furnace to smelt iron ore into ingots. To build a furnace I added a construction UI at the bottom left. Select the building, place it where you want it. Now there's a transparent blueprint. By hovering over it, a tooltip shows what resources are required to finish this construction. Take the required items and click with them on the blueprint, and with that you get a new working furnace to smelt ores. I added a second building, an anvil, that can be used to upgrade the player's tools. So for example, hitting a resource node does more damage. Now that I had a good foundation with some basic resource gathering and crafting mechanics, I took a step back and collected some ideas to get a better view of what the game should look like moving forward. After some time I decided to go with 2 additional main mechanics. First, some simple NPCs to trade with. In exchange to some items they request from the player, they will award blueprints for new and better buildings or upgrades, or give the player some money. The second mechanic is the unlockable game world to discover. With the money the player earned, they can buy new chunks of land, to discover new and more resources, more areas to build and new NPCs to trade with. I wanted to start by creating a rough layout of the game world, but before I could start to draw the map, I had to set up the tileset and better terrain plugin. This took me quite a lot of time and even then there was still some misalignments between the different tiles. But that's okay for now and is something that I will fix in the future. The map has for now 3 main types. The normal grassland, then the beaches and one desert at the top. Keep in mind this is really just the first draft and will evolve over time a lot. The first iteration of the unlock world mechanic is based on dividing the world into 8x8 tile big chunks. For each chunk spawn 1 button. Pressing the button removes it and unlocks this chunk of the world. In between I also added the ability to move the camera with the keyboard. Next I worked on spawning resource nodes. I tried out some approaches. Some were quite resource intensive, so that the frames per second dropped quite a bit. I also added some flowers and grass as decoration, so the world does not look so plain. The resource spawning works for now so that every few seconds a new resource node is spawned in the unlocked area, until a maximum amount is reached. To spawn new resources, already spawned ones have to be harvested, or unlock new chunks to increase the maximum amount of nodes. I added a basic NPC with a simple trade. By giving it 5 iron ingots, the player will get 10 gold coins in return. The last thing was to create a UI and replace the buttons to unlock new chunks. Now the traded gold coins can be used to buy new land. And the game is done. Well, not really. The first iteration of the main mechanics are done, but there's still a lot missing to call it a completed game. For example, way more content like new resource types and crafting stuff. But also systems like main menu, localization and of course a save and load system are missing. But that's all stuff for future videos. Thanks so much for watching and feel free to write feedback in the comments. Bye!